I've been wanting to try one of the Nomads for ages. I hear people talk about them occasionally. I don't know that I've ever really smelt it in store, but I was really interested by the Mirabelle Plum. And I think that's generally a very strong note in all of them, but I know that oak moss is also a strong note in Nomad generally, so I just thought, okay, I'm going to investigate this. So the interesting thing about Nomad is that although like I said, I don't know that I've ever tried it, I don't remember ever deliberately smelling it, it's such a recognisable profile to me. I sprayed it out and I was kind of chuckling because I was thinking to myself, oh, okay, I remember this from, I must have smelt this on so many people when it was like super, super popular. It just was really making me chuckle to think of like how much I was like, oh no, I do know this. I do know this one. For me personally, I mean, this is the Absolu version, so this is the stronger version. Or at least I'm not sure if it's actually technically stronger, because I think Nomad is like famously quite a strong perfume. But I went for this one because there's no patchouli. The oak moss wasn't voted as being like the top. Oh no, actually it is voted as being the top scent. Oh, it's only just taking it over. When I ordered this, the Mirabelle was voted top. But I guess the votes have changed and now the oak moss is right up there. So the notes on this, it says cherry plum enriched by fruity facets of Davana and oak moss. On here it says Mirabelle plum, middle notes oak moss and Davana, base notes musk and sandalwood. So if I just have a little look at the original Nomad, just out of interest, maybe I'm going mad and it hasn't got patchouli in it. I'm not sure. Yes, it does have patchouli. Okay, this is why I went for the Absolute version then, because the other versions have patchouli. So I think there's still florals in here, like for sure. They haven't listed them, but it definitely smells like there's flowers in here. It smells slightly jasmine-y, but I don't think this is something I want to wear. I can understand why people like it. As I said, it's quite a recognisable profile. It's just not really doing much for me generally. I think it's pretty. It's compared mainly to all the other Nomads and not really many other things that I know well. But I think I know it's Chloe, if that makes sense. I know the original actual Chloe way more than I know the Nomad range. And I can smell house DNA going on here. I'm not keen on Chloe, any of the Chloes really. I don't like the DNA in that range. But I think actually it's the DNA of this house. Because as soon as this dries down, I'm like, oh, that's clearly a Chloe perfume. So personally, I'm not particularly keen on Chloe perfumes. It's not a house that I have ever really found anything that I'm particularly fond of from. But I think if you love Chloe, not just the house, but if you like the range of Chloe perfumes, like the rose perfumes, I think that this would be a really nice kind of evening perfume, or like a stronger perfume, because I think it retains that something of that original Chloe. Yeah, there's definitely, which means there's probably rose in this. I mean, yeah. Yeah, the more I smell it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, I think there's a rose in here, and it's very much the Chloe rose. Makes sense. Is there rose in the original one? Yes, there is. Okay, if I do the votes, it's quite low down in the original one, but there's still 380 votes that say they can smell rose in it. So yeah, I mean, I definitely get a Chloe vibe from this, and like I said, it's not the house that I particularly love, so it's not for me. But I'm really glad that I smelt it, just because I'm like, oh yeah, this is what people smelt like a few years ago, you know. Whenever this came out, let's see. So Nomad came out in 2018, and I feel like when it came out, it was super popular. So it's oh yeah, it says it's a chypre floral, makes sense, yeah, because the oak moss. So I just remember smelling people who smelt a bit like this. So I guess that when it came out, it was like super popular. And now I don't really smell this very much. I don't smell many people who smell like they're wearing Nomad. I still smell people who smell like they're wearing Chloe, but I think this is a much more intense perfume than the original Chloe. And it's a little bit more sultry in a way, but yeah, it's quite syrupy and it's still really pretty, nice and fruity, but yeah, it's just not really my vibe.